Hey guys, I just want to share that I love my Tupperware business going on 30 years. Anyway, because it has given me the freedom to live the lifestyle I need to live for my family. Started when my kids were little and they needed me, and then I was there for them throughout their high school and activities, and now they don't need me anymore, but now my mommy needs me, and Tupperware has given me the freedom to be there for her all the time. So, thank you Tupperware for all you do. And who's next?
It's Rena. Oh,
I'll
you're
Hey,
go
muted.
while Rena unmutes. Um, I love Tupperware because I love the flexibility that I can make the paycheck that I want and work it around my family time. And we were able to raise our kids that way. And now I get to help with my grandchildren too. So I love that flexibility from Tupperware that I can make as little or as much as I need to every day, every week. And Rena.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I love Tupperware for the confidence that it gave me with the trainings that the company provides. I think it just helps make a person successful. And I appreciate all the group of friends that I made. It just made all the difference in the world. Getting ready to go on vacation twice, both spring and summer, with my Tupperware peeps, and how it changed our family's life financially. I love all that.
Okay.
I love Tupperware because it keeps me independent. I had a rough spot in life where they were going to throw me in rehab and anything, but I fought and I was like, no, I can do it. And Tupperware has kept me independent. Um, it's gave me the freedom to be able to go see my family and definitely the friends and the support that you get from everybody.
Things that they've said, the friends, the financial things. The other thing that I really love about Tupperware is what I have learned about myself during being in Tupperware. One of the first things I learned was that I really didn't hate to cook. I just didn't have the things to cook with that would make it fun. So now that it's fun, I don't mind cooking. I'm not sure I love it, but I don't mind. But it's just been more self-confidence. I have made friends that I would have never had otherwise. And also Tupperware during different stages of your life, different parts of your journey, quote unquote. There isn't anybody saying, oh, you have 3 days to get back to work after this happens, or you won't have your job if you have to go to your grandson's graduation, things like that. You can do everything on your own time and you can take it with you. Okay, I have been on vacation, take the computer, you get done what you need to do while everybody else is doing what you don't want to do anyway while you're on vacation, and then you go ahead and get back with the family and do what you want to do. So I just love the freedom and the knowledge about myself that it's given me.
And you know what I love about Tupperware? I love the fact that when I joined Tupperware, I needed it really bad. I needed the money. I came in really thinking I just wanted the product and found out there was way more in this company than I ever acknowledged and ever knew. And so getting in, really digging in deep fast and learning a company car and making it and so my husband could quit all the side jobs as a police officer, which really scared me all the time going to work, him going to work so tired, working and a lot of cops do that. They work a lot of hours and then they work side jobs, and it really does make good money for the family, but it really does take a strain on the body. And that was the joy that I had, was getting him out of those side jobs and letting him coach the kids. And so my business has continued. And what I love today the most about Tupperware is that same flexibility with my mother. And she lives here in my home with me, and I take care of her. She's 94, 94 years young. And you know, the joy of helping other women see the same values that I have seen in the Tupperware business and being able to give to your family too. You will see that the business just absolutely can cater to your lifestyle, no matter who you are. And one of the best parts is helping other women succeed at the same time. So you will grow, but you will always help others as you grow. You know what? Let's turn it over to Ellen. Ellen, what do you love about this business?
Awesome. All right. So, one of the things that I absolutely love about this business is definitely the support. 100% the support. Because when I came to the business, my family was in a pretty tough spot financially, and I definitely felt like we were kind of on our own with it. We were kind of forging our way ahead, so just a little bit about me. Pam asked me to kind of share a little bit about my story today. So a little bit about me is when I came to Tupperware 17 years ago, my family, we had owned a business. So we had a coffee shop, and so my husband and I, we owned a coffee shop. And at the time, we had two small children. They were 2 and 3, and now they're 19 and 20. And and we have a third one now who's 11. And so they were 2 and 3, and it was kind of a scary time because when I met Pam about a year before I joined Tupperware, and at that time we had already closed our store, and we were trying to figure things out, and I was in another direct sales company. I'd already been in another direct sales company, so that I was on my second direct sales company. My kids were really small. I think both of them were in diapers at the time when I met Pam, and I didn't really feel like I could get a job that was going to offset the cost of childcare. And so I felt like, I need to figure out some way to work from home. And at the time there were not a lot of opportunities to work from home other than direct sales, really. And so I was just like, I got to figure this out. And my husband was working. He was, what was he doing at the time? I think he was, let's see here. At the time, I think he was working a sales job, and it was not super successful for him. And so he was really struggling. And we were just, our confidence was like next to nothing because, we go through failed business. It's kind of hard not to feel a little bit like a failure. But she was like sunshine, right? I mean, she was like sunshine on a cloudy day after like a month of cloudy days. Okay. So like it was like, when you're kind of in the thick of it and you've got your head down, and especially when, you're if if you have children with you and you're dealing with that every day and they're small and your world's very small, you don't have people to talk to, and it's just kind of like you feel very isolated. And so when I met her, she was just so positive, and I was like, oh, this is what I want. I need this in my life, and I want to be this for other people. So I remember going home, and I was like, and I said, my husband, at the time he was working 2 jobs. So he was working in the evenings. So I would call him on my way home, and I said, babe, I said, I met the most amazing woman. And he was like, he just kind of like, oh, and he was half asleep, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was just like, and I'm like, you're not listening. He's not listening to me. And I just kind of was like annoyed by the fact that he wasn't listening to me. And he was trying to like get ready to wake up so he could go to his night job, right? And I was just like, so I could tell he wasn't listening to me. And I was like, I met the most amazing woman, and I said, and I'm leaving you. And he like stopped and he looked at me, and I said, you're not listening to me. He goes, what? And I said, you're not listening to me. I said, I met the most amazing woman. How often do I come home and say I met an amazing woman? He goes, give me a minute. And so he went and he like splashed water on his face. He comes out and he goes, can you start over? And I said, yes. I said, I met this amazing woman. I said, she's everything I want to be personally and professionally. And I think I could really learn from her. And I want to get to know her. And I think that she could help us and just like help me in my business. And this was when I was with the other direct sales company. And he was just like, okay, what's her name? And so I told him about Pam. And so over the next year, I started to get to know Pam, and she was trying to help me with the other company that I was with, right? And we just kept hitting roadblocks. Like it was like, we would hit a wall. She's like, can you do this? And I'm like, I can't. And she's like, can you try this? And I was like, I can't. And she's like, well, what about this? And I'm like, I can't. And it was like the other company, they had all these rules in place, and it just wouldn't work. So finally I went to a conference with this other company, and it was like I was standing up on the stage and getting all this great recognition for all the success I'd had, and I was broke. I mean, broke. Like I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get there. The conference was in Nashville. I'm in Ohio. For those of you that don't know, I'm like in Northeast Ohio, up in the Cleveland, Akron area. And the conference was in Nashville. And I drove to Cincinnati and dropped my oldest off at my sister's house because I just needed company because I was feeling so lonely and isolated. My husband and I were fighting. because financial strain just causes so much stress on a marriage. And I dropped I dropped my oldest off in Cincinnati, and then I got on, and my husband and I were fighting the entire way and on the phone. Then I dropped them off in Cincinnati, and then I'm driving to Nashville, roaming, remember roaming charges on cell phones, and we fought from Cincinnati to Nashville on the phone. And I thought, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And that was a $400 argument. A $400 argument, right? And when I got home, I was like, I have to fix something. I have to fix something. And when I went to the next time I saw Pam, I looked at her and I was like, my husband needs a win. And I said, I think that all this direct sales stuff is smoke and mirrors and people can't actually make money. And she's like, what? And I said, I don't think you can make money in direct sales. And she said, I'm looking for somebody to sell Tupperware online. Is your husband good with computers? And I said, my husband doesn't want to sell Tupperware, Pam. And she's like, but seriously, is he good with computers? I'm like, yeah, I know a little bit about computers, but I'm like, whatever. I'm like, nice try, but I don't think that's going to work. So we talked in the parking lot of this place. So we're talking in this parking lot. And then I was like, okay. And she's just like, I really want to talk to you. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going out of town. My dad's really sick. I'm going out of town. And so she said, okay, well, why don't we get together when you get back into town? And I said, okay. So we part ways in this parking lot. I live 10 minutes from where we were, right? And I'm walking in the door, and my husband's walking across the kitchen. He's on the house phone. Okay. I didn't even know she had my house phone number. She's on the house phone. He's on the house phone. And he's walking across the kitchen, and he says, yeah, she's walking in the door right now. And he'd met her like 1 or 2 times. So he's like, she's walking in the door right now. Yeah, let me get her. Let me get her. And he's holding the phone out. I was like, who is it? And he's like, it's Pam. I was like, damn, she is good. She called him already to recruit him into Tupperware. I was like, damn, no wonder she gets paid the big bucks, right? I'm like, she's crazy. So I'm like, hello. And she's like, hey, doll, at the time she called everyone doll. Okay. It still comes out every now and again, but at the time everyone was doll. Everyone that she was fond of was doll. Hey, doll, I was just thinking about you. I was driving home, and I want to go ahead and schedule something because I just can't stop thinking about you, and I really want to sit down and talk with you. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll be back Sunday. So let's just talk Monday. And so we set something up. So I went home. Like I said, my dad was sick. And I was at home, and the weekend was not about me. I was there to see my dad. And I remember being at home, and I was there with the kids, and I was so sad and stressed. And these are the people that know me and love me the most in life. And anybody that knows me knows that I am an open book. If you know me, you can look at me, and even if you're not making eye contact with me, you can take one look at me and you know when something's wrong. I can't hide it. People that don't know me, I can probably usually fake it, but the people that know me, they even can look at my posture and know something's wrong. And I just wear my heart on my sleeve. And they didn't see it. They didn't see that my whole world was falling apart around me. And I was so heartbroken by everything that was going on. I was heartbroken about my dad, and I was heartbroken about my life. And I just was like, oh, something has got to give. And my kids were really little at the time. They were 2 and 3. And I kept everything from them. Like that, you talk about a wall. I mean, there was a wall. It was not their problem. Okay. This was our problem to fix, and it was not their burden. And so I did not want them to feel any of that. Right. So we got in the car, and the kids were like, we lived like 3 hours from my parents. And so we got in the car, and Eric wasn't with us because he was working 2 jobs. And so we got into the car, and the kids fell asleep by the time we hit the highway, which was like 15 minutes from the house. And I looked in the mirror, and I saw they were asleep. And as soon as I saw they were asleep, the tears just flowed, and I cried for the rest of the drive home. And as soon as I hit the exit ramp, getting off by our house, they woke up, and I thought, thank you for letting them cry this entire time, or letting them sleep the entire time, because I didn't want them to see me cry. But I remember praying and driving, and I was like, gosh, please just make this decision easy for me. I don't know what Pam's going to say to me, but I just can't make any more hard decisions, and I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. And so I sat down with her the next day, and we sat at the island in her kitchen, which is still like one of my favorite places to sit in her house. It's not it's not the most comfortable place, but that's my favorite. And I'll sit there for hours, especially with a glass of wine and popcorn, but and good company, which is never never a struggle at her house. And so but I'm sitting there, and she just literally made a good old fashioned pros and cons list. This is what Tupperware can offer you, and this is without Tupperware. This is if you stay with the company that you're with and just forge ahead, right? And it was pretty obvious that Tupperware had more flexibility for me in the ways that I could work my business, the different avenues, because it's so much more. Even then, it was so much more than home parties, and now the list is like bonkers, right? I mean, it's like so much flexibility of the things and the ways that we can work our business. We have so many different ways that we can kind of really attack this business. And it was just like, and I was like, okay. And so from that moment, and she looked at me, and I was just like, gosh, can I really join another company? Am I that girl? Like, am I that girl? And she was like, you can do this. And I was just like, oh, I can't go to my friends and be like, can you do another party for me? And she was just like, you know what? Step out on service. Like, step out saying, hey, I'm with this new company, and I need to learn the system. So I'm looking for broken Tupperware so I can learn the warranty system, right? So that's what I did, because that's what felt comfortable to me. Now, if I was joining today, I think I probably would step out with fundraising, right? Because that would feel more comfortable to me, right? So I would step out with maybe fundraising and be like, hey, I joined this new company. I partnered with Tupperware, and they offer some fundraising. So I would love, if you know anybody that does fundraising, I really want to learn their fundraising program. So I would love to kind of partner with some places or people to do some fundraising with them. Do you know anybody, right? And so I would kind of go that direction, or some other different things, avenues are also open too. If you have burnt out a party chain, right? So if you've already been with other direct sales companies like I had, and you feel like you've already gone to your friends and family over and over again for all various parties, there are options for you. But if you haven't, then go for the party. It's the fastest, quickest, easiest way to make the money in Tupperware. But it just like, it was such an amazing path, because when I was sitting there with her, I was just like, I can't ask anybody for parties. And she sat there, and she's like, step out on service. And then from that, I was like, she's like, how much money do you need to make? And I said, I need to make $3,000 a month as soon as possible. And I was like, I know it's not going to happen overnight and all this. And then she's like, well, what is it that you really want out of the business? And I was just like, listen, because the company I was with before, every time somebody asked me my why, I would say, I really need to pay my bills. And she's like, oh, no. I mean, like, what is your why? Like, do you want a beach house? And I'm like, lady, I can barely keep my electricity on. You're asking me about a beach house? Like, it's just like, I can't think about a beach house. Like, I don't have food on my table. Like, I was like, come on. Like, and what I said to Pam when she asked me that, I said, listen, I know that you're not going to be happy with my answer, but I just really need to be able to pay my bills. And she goes, why wouldn't I be happy with that answer? I said, because I know it's not the right answer. And she looked at me and she said, if that is what you need, then that will always be the right answer. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody's actually listening to me. Like, and it was just like, it felt so refreshing for somebody to honor what my why was, what the reason why I was here, and not like judge me for it. And I was just like, wow. And then she sat there and she said, listen, I know that you don't have confidence in yourself right now. And she said, but do you have confidence in me? Do you have confidence that I can take you where you need to go in this business? I said, well, heck yeah. Like, look what you've done. Like, look what you've built in this business. I mean, at the time, she'd been in the business. Um, I don't know how long you've been in the business. It was 30 years. It was a long time. She'd been in the business a long time at that time, and I've been in the business 17 years. So it's been a minute. So, but she, and so I was just like, yeah, look what you've done. Like, of course, like I have confidence in you, and she's like, well, until you have confidence in yourself, you put your confidence in me. She's like, you borrow mine. And I was just like, okay. So from that moment on, she said jump and I said how high. I didn't question why. I didn't question why she was saying. The only time I questioned why was to learn. Like I'd be like, why are you, why am I going this way? Like why am I zigging? When I think my brain's telling me to zag, why are you telling me to zig? And she's like, because when you do this, you're going to build this. And I'm like, that makes sense, and so I'm like, okay. And so but she's telling me because I was building a team, I was building a future, because my goal was to make six figures. My goal was to make as much money as Bam Clift. My goal was to do that. My goal was to put my kids through college. My goal was to be able to pay off my house. My goal was to do those things. And so I needed to know the nuts and bolts, because when I got to her place, I needed to make sure I left breadcrumbs so that I could teach other people to do the same thing. And so that's why I needed to know. That's the only reason why I ever questioned anything she ever told me to do. And so, but seriously, like that's what this business can do. And it's just like, it's just so awesome. And then you sit there and you're just like, Tupperware? Like seriously? Tupperware? I know it's not the latest and greatest, the hottest, coolest trend, but seriously, it does not get any better than Tupperware. I mean, that's the reason why we've been in business this long. I mean, like, seriously, that's the reason why people keep coming back to it. That's the reason why people put a big smile on their face when you say the word Tupperware, when they see your product, when they see my car coming down the street. I see people at stoplights and they look over at my car and I see them mouth the word Tupperware. You know what I mean? It's just so funny. And so, but that's why, and it is. So you're in the right place. For any of you new people, anybody that's checking us out here tonight, you're in the right place. And any of you that came here tonight because you want to remember and you want to find that why again and you want to fall back in love with the business,